Now we have a great story involving Ti and Tiny, who were awarded a large sum of money by a company who intended to infringe on an intellectual property that they own, and they received a large lump sum of both punitive and they got damages in two varieties. They received real damages and punitive damages. I'm going to need a law expert to explain the difference between the two. I am not exactly sure what the difference is, but if it is being reported as such in a journalistic capacity, then there must be a difference. Be that as it may, let's wait for this share to pop up here. There you go. Oh, good job. Good job. All right, so this says Ti and Tiny win massive $71 million lawsuit from MGA Entertainment. Ti and Tiny may be best known for their musical contributions, but they have taken more of a business approach in recent years. The couple launched the pop group the OMG Girls in 2009. The group didn't yield any major hits, but a recent lawsuit has netted Ti a major payday. Deadline has confirmed that the couple has won a $71 million case against MGA Entertainment. This was after the record label violated their intellectual property. The violation reportedly came about after MGA launched a line of dolls that infringed upon the OMG Girls' likeness and style. Ti and Tiny were awarded $17,872,359 in real damages and $53,616,759 in punitive damages.
Damn.
This was not an easily won case, however. The couple previously filed and lost two lawsuits regarding the same issue. Ti and Tiny filed their initial suit in January 2023. The case was thrown out by the judge, however, when the jury heard barred testimony regarding cultural appropriation claims. The second attempt was made a few months later and resulted in a victory for MGA Entertainment. Ti's lawyer, John Kevill, issued a statement following the lawsuit victory. He thanked the jurors for standing up to MGA's bullying and misrepresentations. The rapper and his singer wife tried to keep a tight lip when it came to the various cases, but they did open up about their optimism leading up to their court victory. The judge maintained impartiality, and we value the diligence the jury exhibited, Tiny told All Hip Hop. With the case now entrusted to them, we believe that we will deliver a verdict that is just and in favor of the OMG Girls. The irony is that OMG Girls have been defunct for nearly a decade. The girl group was active from 2009 to 2015 with a brief reunion in 2017. They've completely avoided the limelight since, meaning this major payday stemmed from a dormant business venture. Ti told court reporters that the victory against MGA represented something bigger than this singular case of infringement. This is a victory not just for us, he asserted, but for every artist who has had their work taken without permission. So $71 million, that's a large chunk of change.
Boy.
I'm guessing they're going to have to pay some taxes on that. And then, of course, they're going to have to pay the legal fees. So it's not like they're going to net all of that. But,
But damn.
nevertheless, what do you make of this judgment here, this lawsuit victory on their behalf?
Well, on one hand, I would like to congratulate them for going out there, man, sticking their neck out there to go out there and fight this. Um, they clearly knew they had a case. The nerve for them to just come out with a doll and just sell it, and you know what I'm saying, and not try to pay. That's how these labels act. That's how these execs do things. So I commend them for going out there and fighting for theirs. But on the flip side on this, um, you know, watch out, Ti and Tiny. These people don't play fair. So you won in court now. But these people, they got more than $71 million. They got a lot more where that came from, and things could get real rigmaroleish for y'all. So they could. I'm not wishing this on them. So if this is all above board, they won this money and don't feel no repercussions down the line. Kudos to them, man. But barking up these trees, man, when these people were they don't like losing. especially an amount like that. You know, they typically don't end the game there. This was just a battle to them, but they plan on winning the war. If you are picking up what I'm putting down, so hopefully this is just this incident. They get their money and they everything's good for them. And even on the on my cautious side of this, where I'm saying, hey man, be careful. You know, what are these people supposed to do, man? Just take this L, right? Are you supposed to just sit here and let these people railroad you, make all this money with one of your ideas and not say nothing because you're afraid of them? So, you know, it's just a tough pickle, man. This is to me, this is why you don't do deals with, you know, these shady individuals or these shady entities like this, because you know, they're always trying to find, you know, a way to screw you over. So in T.I.'s case, they found a way, and in his case, he found a way to get his back. So hopefully this is all on the up and up for him and Tiny, man. So congratulations to them. Hopefully they dull a little something out to these OMG girls. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully they can get a little bit of this, you know, maybe 20,000 a piece. You're gonna say that's it. Y'all get 20K a piece, and the rest is going to me, King, and all my other little youngins. So but yeah, man. Congrats to him, and hopefully everything stays above board, bro. But yeah, fight for yours out there, y'all. Because you know, you never know. But what are your thoughts, man, on Mr. T.I. and Tiny winning 71K, or not 71K, 71 mil, my bad, in a lawsuit? What are your thoughts, man?
I think that it symbolizes the importance of, as best you can, maintaining some control over your own creations, and
Correct.
not allowing others to come in and infiltrate your situation
Correct.
and give you own and take ownership rights away from you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so also often what we see happen is, you know, like you said, they have more than 71 million.
Mm-hmm.
So companies and corporations and entities like this, they can pay you for the rights to the rights to IPs that you create, and
Mm-hmm.
now they have the controlling interest in it,
Mm-hmm.
and they can easily do it because they can offer you an amount of money that's more money than you've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
And so you feel like it's an offer that you can't refuse, but in the long run, the value of your IP over time is going to be worth more than whatever it is that they're giving you.
Yep.
And they know this, and they're depending on your short-sightedness to not see that potentiality.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, T.I. is seasoned, he's older, but this really happens with younger people who create something and then just allow, you know, somebody to come in and buy it from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see further down the line, this thing that you created is worth billions of dollars, and you're not reaping any of those benefits because they gave you what, 5 mil, 10 mil, and they knew that that would be enough to entice you to give up the rights to it, because you ain't never seen $100,000 in your life, let alone 5 million to $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they give you 5 million, 10 million, and say, hey, this is a great idea, we'd like to buy it from you. 10 years later, it's worth $10 billion, $20 billion, and you can't do nothing.
Yep.
But hopefully you took that 5 or 10 million that you made and invested it somehow so that you can keep it going to churn out that generational wealth that lasts, you know, for the rest of the time that you and your bloodline exists on this earth. But the importance of it is not selling it, keeping it, and seeing it through to the end. And it might be a long road and it might take a long time, but the fruit is, you know, the fruit is worth the juice or the squeeze at the end of the day. And you know, we talk about rappers all the time. You talk about 360 deals with the music industry. These rappers who don't own the rights to the masters of their own music that they created. It's owned by the record labels and not them, which is why they have to constantly tour and do live shows, because that's where they make the majority of their money, because the money that they get from the music itself goes to the label. I remember listening to Scarface. I think it was on Freeway. Freeway did an album. I think it was Freeway. Freeway had an album, Free at Last. I think it came out back in 2006 or something like that. and there was a song on there with Scarface, and one of the lines in Scarface's verse was like, "I don't want to be 55 relying on concerts from a show," like something that he said to that effect. And 55 doing concerts relying on a show. I think that was how he put it. But it's like, these rappers, the ones that aren't smart enough to understand the value of this, they get older, they don't own the rights to any of their creations, and now they still gotta run around doing shows and perform at festivals and all of this other kind of stuff, and instead of being able to kind of sit back and rest on their laurels.
Yep.
And it's not just with music. All creators are getting the shaft. Dave Chappelle, a person who is in the entertainment space who I actually respect, he actually was doing shows when he was doing stand-up specials. And during his stand-up specials, he would tell the crowd to not watch episodes of Chappelle's Show on Netflix because Comedy Central refused to give him the rights to his own creation back. So whenever you watched Chappelle's Show on Netflix, Comedy Central was earning the residuals off that, not Dave Chappelle. And so Dave Chappelle used to tell crowds, for as long as that is the case, do not stream it, don't watch it. Which was odd because some people were saying, "Damn, this dude is telling us not to watch his own show," but he was telling people not to watch his own show because he didn't own the rights to it.
Yeah.
Well, eventually he was able to get that. Thankfully, he was able to get it, and so he stopped. He fell back from doing that because now Comedy Central no longer has the controlling rights to that. And if you notice, I don't know if anybody still has cable or if they stream or whatever, but I don't think you can find Chappelle's Show on Comedy Central anymore. Like, I don't think they show it. I think it's on Netflix, but I don't think it's on Comedy Central. But somebody fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure you cannot. I'm pretty sure Comedy Central does not show Chappelle's Show anymore. But yeah, we see this all the time, man, and that was a creation of his own. And I do think that in this day and age, it's an important message for any creator to heed, because we're still at a point in society where you're not going to see very many non-white people in Wall Street. You're not going to see very many non-white people being CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. You're not going to see very many non-white people being the CEO of Disney. You're not going to see very many non-white people who are venture capitalists. You're not going to see very many non-white people who are big-time brokers and they own their own real estate brokerage. Not a realtor. You see enough non-white people who are realtors and real estate agents. I'm talking about the people who make the most money, the brokers, the people who own the brokerage. These are the people that the realtors work for. And we're still at a point where you don't see very many non-white people in that position. You don't see very many non-white people who are starting tech firms and starting tech startups and creating apps. You don't see very many non-white people creating these AI applications. So while we're still at that point, it's more important than ever for people to understand the importance of, as much as possible, retaining the majority of the ownership rights of their creations. So this kind of thing to me symbolizes that, because they were able to win that outright. Well, as far as, they made several attempts, but at least third time's the charm. They were able to get in there and win this judgment because it was saw to it that they retain ownership of this IP. And as such, this organization, MGA, whatever, MGA Entertainment, can't just start willy-nilly creating things based off of the likeness of something that they don't own, because T.I. and Tiny still own it. The audacity to even attempt to do such a thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
But nevertheless, man, artists, creators, people who create stuff, try as hard as you can to not sell it. You can let people in on partnership deals. You can give them a minority stake, give them a partial share. Don't sell overall operating ownership. Retain that for yourself. The value of what you create over time is going to far outpace whatever little chunk of change some big corporate honcho is going to show up to pay you for it. So just try to keep that in mind. I know it's easier said than done, because if somebody slaps $10 million or $20 million in front of you, hard to turn that down, right? So I get it. But in the long run, them B's are going to be worth a lot more than them M's.
Yeah, hey man, I agree, bro. And strong message there, man. And I forgot Chappelle got ownership back because I was feeling guilty a couple weeks ago, man. I was watching I had to watch the Negro Dominant stuff over again, man. I had to watch the Negro Dominance, man. You know, I was watching all Paul Mooney clips, to be honest. So, you know, shout out to Paul Mooney, man. And, you know, RIPs. And then, but yeah, man, you raised a good point, man, with, you know, people not owning their stuff. And honestly, that's why I like, at least that's what I believe. That's why I like Aretha Franklin is still out there doing shows. Frankie Beverly, who just passed away, I mean, he was always doing shows, you know, and what they got nice stuff. They live up on a hill somewhere, you know, with a nice gate, you know, with 3 or 4 cars, but you know, they're doing all those shows to keep up that lifestyle.
Right.
And because they don't really own anything, because if they really own their stuff, you wouldn't see them as much. So, so yeah, to speak to your point of what Scarface was just talking about, hey man, I don't want to be 55 out here on tour just to, yeah, man, that's the reality, you know, real prophetic, man, because, you know, guys from his group, his cohort, you know, they're still out there doing shows just to keep up their lifestyle because they don't own anything. And so yeah, man, for these little checks, these little you know, loans that these entities give out, whether it's a record label, you know, you're in the movies, film, or whatever you're into, man, interneting, podcasting. If you decide, like you said, if you decide to take that risk and sign on the line, because hey man, you know, I got this, I got that going, you know, mama need a house. That's like, okay, bro, but you know, you can't just go start balling. And you know, as hard as it may be, you got to keep living like you still broke and invest that. And enough people don't take that risk. So yeah, man, wise words, man. And for anybody out there, man, that just got some property, some intellectual stuff that you're working on, man, and you grinding and you trying to get that thing out there, you know, don't take your first deal. You know, don't take your first deal, man. Because if somebody's willing to shell out this much money or that much money for whatever you got going, there's a bigger check out there, and your idea is worth a lot more than you thought. So yeah, man, wise words, man. And shout out to T.I. and Tiny, man, for collecting that Monopoly money, man. That's a big time bag they got there. So hopefully he invests this.
Yeah.
And not ball outrageous and, you know, come out with an album flexing and weird
Right.
stuff about this.
Yeah, and you make a good point too. Hopefully, the actual members of the group see some kind of benefit from this too. I don't recall them. Yeah, so yeah, I don't remember them. I don't remember the OMG girls, but wherever they are, whoever they are, I just looked them up. I really don't remember that, but hopefully they are able to. Hopefully they get something too, because it was them putting in the actual physical work. But yeah, man, you want to be Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld doesn't have to work a day in his life because him together with Larry David, right? They made sure that they didn't like they own everything that has to do with Seinfeld. That show has been off of television since 1998. Okay. And this dude, Jerry Seinfeld, is worth $1 billion, largely because of the valuation of Seinfeld in the syndication, which is mind-boggling.
It is.
Now imagine if the rights to Seinfeld was owned by whatever Hollywood studio was showing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like the Comedy Central equivalent, whoever was showing it. Imagine that. Seinfeld would still be out here making movies every year, you know, probably still doing stuff. He still does stuff now, but he does it because he feels like it, not because he has to. You know, but him and Larry David, man, that's the model. That's the model. Is everything going to be as successful as Seinfeld? Of course not. That's lightning in a bottle. But it's a testament to what can happen if you have the right priorities in check. Because him and Larry David, they don't have to work. Their children's children will never have to work a day in their lives, because into perpetuity they receive royalty payments every I don't know how often, but they receive a hefty sum of royalty payments off of a show that hasn't been on television in almost 30 years.
Wow.
And you can't put a price on that. You can't put a price on that. So, I understand why Chappelle fought tooth and nail.
Yeah.
And I think about all of these other people. I'm pretty sure Martin don't own Martin.
No.
I'm pretty sure the Wayans brothers don't own the Wayans brothers.
I hope they do.
I hope they do too, but I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But it's just little things like that, man. So all y'all creators out there, artists, you creating IPs, you starting apps, whatever you're doing, don't sell it. Keep it. Hold on to it.
Yeah,
because they gonna try to take it from you, and it's worth way more than you know.
Hey, but yeah, let us know down in the comment section, guys. Do y'all really know who the OMG girls are? Because I know they are. Because I'm pretty sure they were a part of his reality show, and they made guest appearances, or he had some type of making a band situation when he was featuring them, trying to get them on. So maybe y'all know him through that. But if the OMG girls are out there, man, shout out to y'all, man, and pass through the comment, the conscious approach, and we'll interview y'all. See if T.I. and Chain to give y'all some of that money. Let us know if they gave you 20,000 or not.
Yeah, shouts out to T.I., man. Shouts out to T.I. and Tiny.